I only wish I could sing. I only wish I could sing. I hear the song right now. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. We're back, everybody. Bigger, brighter, righter than ever. Thank you, William Barr, for telling the truth. After 8 years of Barack Obama, after 2 years of the Russian collusion delusion lies, President Trump has been fully exonerated. There was no obstruction of justice. 580-5436. 580-KIDO. It is over. It is over. President Trump did not assert executive privilege over Mueller's report. The president's personal lawyers were not permitted to make redactions. There is nothing. No conflict of interest, no obstruction of justice. So for the millions of dollars, for the smears, for the slander, for everything that this president has been through, it was all for nothing. It was a witch hunt. Isn't that right, Mr. Attorney General William Barr? By the way, if you were listening to the Attorney General, you were listening to KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Oh, my. Again, ain't no stopping us now, ladies and gentlemen. We're still here.
The special counsel brought charges in federal court against several Russian nationals and entities for their respective roles in this scheme. Those charges remain pending, and the individual defendants remain at large. But the special counsel found no evidence that any American, including anyone associated with the Trump campaign, conspired or coordinated with the Russian government or the IRA in this illegal scheme.
How about that one, my devious little liberal friends?
As the special counsel report makes clear, the Russian government sought to interfere in our election process. But thanks to the special counsel's thorough investigation, we now know that the Russian operatives who perpetrated these schemes did not have the cooperation of President Trump or the Trump campaign, or the knowing assistance of any other American for that matter.
Will it be enough to satisfy the devious little libs? We'll find out about that. Joining us now for analysis, Congressman Russ Fulcher from the 1st Congressional District here in Idaho. Congressman Fulcher, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin.
So here we have it. The Attorney General releasing the Mueller report, giving in no unsubstantiated terms, boom, there was no Russian collusion delusion, case closed.
Well, there's no surprise. I mean, I don't know why people would think that the report wouldn't support what the summary was here a few days ago. So a few days ago, we get a one-page blank piece of paper, and today we get a blank ream of paper. And so I want to collect my report just so that I can have that blank ream of paper and recycle it in my printer.
Amazing. Congressman Fulcher joining us. Kevin Miller here at KIDO Talk Radio. Now, Congressman, how will this, if at any, change the dynamic where you work right now?
Well, I think it continues to be embarrassing for those who bring these charges, and we've told them. I've told them. We've had conversations in various settings. Is look, it's time to drop this thing in terms of continuing to pursue this collusion challenge. But I don't know that they can help themselves, Kevin. And they want to see this president go down so badly. They want to find something so badly that they can try to hang over his head or use as a basis for impeachment that I just don't know that they can help themselves. But they've pushed it so far now that I believe it's backfiring. And it's a matter of time before those who brought these charges are investigated themselves. And, and so it's a good thing, I think, in the short term for those of us who are on the other side of this issue or the president. But it's continues to be a distraction from the process of governing. And that's disappointing.
Congressman Fulcher joining us. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Congressman Fulcher, one of the few bright, shining stars in the 2018 election cycle. You've been trying to reach out to the libs. You've been trying to reach out to the Democrats. You want to work for the betterment of the country. Have they been receptive?
Well, there's a percentage that are. And so while this is all going on, we're attempting to do our job. And there's some positive things happening on that front. But there's still that percentage of members, that percentage of unelected bureaucrats who are fixated with trying to get rid of the president. And unfortunately, that's overshadowed a lot of other things. And, of course, at the national level, the national media want to see the same thing for the most part. So they loiter around in every possible juncture and look to try to exacerbate the system. And if this doesn't come up in an interview, they bring it up. They want to direct the media traffic that way. And accordingly, Kevin, I think this is embarrassing for the national media too. They've been hounding on this thing for so long, and it continues to turn up with there's no there. And so I'm hopeful that now we can get back to work. But again, I got to go back to how this is backfiring. I don't think that the Democrat Party has anticipated that now they're likely to go under investigation themselves.
Our great friend Congressman Fulcher joining us here, KIDO Talk Radio. How big a deal is this Barr report, the Mueller report? How big a deal with this does it impact you on Capitol Hill every day? Is it as big as the national media portrays it to be, or do you go about the people's business? I know you're doing it, but I mean your colleagues.
Well, I think the ultimate ramification of it is probably a Trump victory in 2020, and very possibly a shift in the majority back to the Republican side in 2020, Kevin, because I think most people see what's going on, and they see that there's really no agenda by the current majority party, at least in the U.S. House, and they're more interested in trying to chase collusion issues where there's nothing to substantiate it as opposed to govern. And so I think the ultimate ramification is likely going to be positive in terms of Republicans. It's just in the meantime, there's a lot of wasted effort in trying to pursue those charges.
Congressman Fulcher, you're making the rounds. Anything else you'd like to share with us? You're rivaling your Idaho congressional delegation colleagues by doing the tour. We've been following your adventures. You're visiting a lot of places here in the Gem State.
Well, that's one of the positives about getting off of the treadmill in Washington D.C. and getting back home. We've got a 2-week window where we can spend time within the state. So that's what we're doing. So in my case, we've literally been all the way to the Canadian border. We're meeting with local officials in each county and trying to build relationships. At the same time, we're trying to find out things that are bothering them or on the docket in their particular region that has something to do with federal interaction to try to improve the circumstances that they're in. I might go back to this Mueller report just for a moment, though, Kevin. This issue is really not coming up in the heart of Idaho. In Idaho, for the most part, the local officials are going about their business. The people are going about their business. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. As you migrate east, it becomes a much bigger deal. And I think that's reflective of Idaho in a lot of different ways. We've got a lot of common sense people here. Wish there were more of them in the east.
Congressman Fulcher, we appreciate you. You have a great day and stay safe, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Yes, sir. Congressman Fulcher joining us. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We are proud to have backed this president. We are proud to be associated with Sean Hannity and William Barr telling us that there was nothing, game over, and it was nothing more than a witch hunt. costing people millions of dollars and ruining thousands of lives.
But again, the special counsel's report did not find any evidence that members of the Trump campaign or anyone associated with the campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in these hacking operations. In other words, there was no evidence of the Trump campaign collusion with the Russian government's hacking.
And to all your little friends that happen to be libs, that happen to be, we're going to haul them away in handcuffs, what do you have to say to them now? And to the devious little libs, what do you have to say, DLL? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And blessed to be with you, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. It's a time to celebrate William Barr releasing the Mueller report. Your calls are next at 580-5436. 580-KIDO. I just ask that you indulge me in this one moment of song celebration and loving America. And there we have it. Boy, I could go on and on with that song. Ain't no stopping us now. Your thoughts, your comments, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We go to the publisher of the Gem State Patriot, Tea Party Bob, joining us now. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. It is another great day as we finally find that there is no Russian collusion. But I want to thank you once again for holding the governor and the crony so-called conservatives responsible for not taking up the repeal of the grocery tax and instead saddling the people of Idaho with more of a burden by taking on Medicaid expansion, which is, as I have said in time, is going to be the cause of some great dissension and concern because of federal cutbacks that will take place. Here we had third longest legislative session in Idaho's history, and I would have to say that much of it that was accomplished was not worthy of even having a session, as many of the bills that were proposed never saw the light of day because of certain committee chairmen like Lakey and Martin who felt they knew better than the people who elected them. And I hope that they remember these cronies in the 2020 election and throw them out of office. Let's face it, we have our own swamp right here in Idaho, and it seems it is even more difficult to drain it than the one in Washington. On the subject of collusion, delusion, and the swamp dwellers of Washington are not going to let up on the Mueller investigation, even though there was no evidence that anyone in Trump's campaign did anything wrong, and no one cooperated with the Russians in any way. I believe that Democrats are in mortal fear that further investigations into the DNC and Clinton's campaign are going to find that there was a conspiracy, but it was by the deep state to take President Trump down. And these phony charges that they trumped up against him, so-called collusion, are going to cause a lot of criminal referrals, which have already started by Representative Nunes. The Dems fear that their plot, if it is ever exposed, is going to doom them for many years in coming congressional and presidential elections. They are no longer going to have the trust of the American people if they are ever exposed. And hopefully this report is going to clear the air, but the diehards in the Democratic Party are not going to let the war drums stop beating for impeachment until they gain some advantage for the 2020 election. Anyway, thank you again for everything you do and for the service to this community.
Well, we do appreciate it. We will continue to fight for the repeal of the grocery tax and hold all those accountable who decided to pass the buck on to the Idaho taxpayers. And like I said, the libs, now they're going to start talking about edits, this, that, and the other. They continue to reach. They continue not to love America. And for all those people that thought that Trump was going down,
nice job, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Tea Party Bob. Take care.
Have a great day.
God bless. Traffic and weather together, KIDO Talk Radio. Let's get you to work safely and on time. Good morning, Dave.
I do have the right to fight back, and I'm fighting back not for me. I'm fighting back for the people of this country.
No collusion. There was no collusion. No collusion.
No collusion.
There is absolutely no collusion.
There's no collusion. The fact is there is no collusion.
No collusion. There's no collusion.
This is a investigation where many, many millions of dollars has been spent, and there's no collusion.
This is a win for this president who, for now 2 years, has essentially been screaming there was no Russia collusion. He is backed up by Mueller.
Maybe every time he said no collusion, like more than 231 times so far, maybe every time he said no collusion, he was telling the truth.
This was an illegal takedown that failed. And hopefully somebody's going to look at the other side.
And we're coming for them next. Conservative Steve joins us now. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Conservative Steve.
Good morning, Kevin. You're amazing, man. Keep up the good work. We pray for you every day, man. It's awesome. The truth will prevail, man. I mean, that's the good book. The truth will prevail. And I think what's happening is Trump's just getting stronger by the day. I mean, he really is. And the policies. And I agree with Rush, man. If he will continue on and pursue this immigration thing, man, and not let up, he'll get reelected hands down. There's nobody on the Democratic side that can come close to him. Nobody. I mean, just the way it is. You look at some of the issues that some of the other folks have on the other side that are running for president. They're so far to the left, they'll never make it. Not in this country, because guess what, Kevin? The old silent majority, the old timers will come out and pull the lever again like they did when they voted Trump in. It's the old grandpas and the uncles and the aunts and the moms and dads and the family structure. They don't put signs on their car, hate this and hate that, and break out your windows because of your car, scratch your car up because you have a different point of view. They just go to the polls and pull the lever. That's what's going to happen again. That's my prediction.
Well, Conservative Steve, Trump has awoken Reagan's Democrats, Nixon's silent majority, traditional America that silently loves their children, that works two jobs, that wants a better place, that has been marginalized in the age of Obama, in the age of these wackos, and now their big brouhaha is over.
Absolutely, Kevin. I agree with you. It is over. It was over from the beginning. Now it's in your eye, mud in your eye. You can complain all you want, but you got radicals like that gal from New York and the other Muslim lady that are talking smack. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck are running for high country. They're trying to distance themselves from these radicals because it isn't going to fly in society. And quite frankly, Kevin, I'll say this. Quite frankly, it's hard for me, for a Democratic candidate, a man to be married to another man. How do you even introduce the first lady if that was to ever happen in this country? I don't think this country is ready for that type of thing. I know they're trying to shove that down everyone's throat, but I just can't even imagine that. That's my point anyway.
Conservative Steve, to quote you, let your heart not be troubled.
That's exactly right, man, because, hey, justice will prevail, man. And whether you like Trump or not, he's got some guts. And guess what? Hey, sanctuary cities, I agree with it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's awesome. Hey, you guys are welcoming, and you want them, and we got no place to put them, so we're going to take them to your town, and then you can deal with them, and you can pay the bill. And I think it's just absolutely brilliant. Every time I see a person drive by me with a refugees welcome sticker on their car, I want to put another sticker under it, Kevin, that says, yeah, welcome at your house. You take them home with you. That's what I want to. I want to put a sticker underneath that says, "Hey, they're welcome. You pay for them and take care of them."
Thank you, Conservative Steve.
All right, you bet. God bless. Have a great day.
God bless.
The special counsel investigated a number of links or contacts between the Trump campaign officials and individuals connected with the Russian government during the 2016 presidential campaign. After reviewing these contacts, the special counsel did not find any conspiracy to violate U.S. law involving Russian-linked persons and any persons associated with the Trump campaign.
No collusion. Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, everybody innocent.
Here, too, the special counsel's report did not find that any person associated with the Trump campaign illegally participated in the dissemination of the materials.
When will the national press and the devious little libs, the sock puppets of the Democratic Party, apologize to this great man and to the people that voted for him? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Good morning, Doug. KIDO Talk Radio, your proud home of Fox News here in the Treasure Valley on 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Our great friend Jared Halpern joining us. And, gee, Jared, I don't know what we're going to talk about today. Not a lot going on.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell has a new piece of legislation that would raise the tobacco age to 21. You can talk about that if you want. I was stunned to get an emailed press release that was not about Robert Mueller or the Attorney General. So thanks, Majority Leader McConnell. Sorry, I digress.
No worries. We have to laugh about this because, this is going to consume us until probably next Monday.
Well, I think it's going to go longer than that. I mean, let's see what the report, which Congress will have in about 23 minutes, actually says versus what we heard from the Attorney General. This is going to be about a 400-page report. The top-line findings were not surprising. We had heard after this investigation concluded last month that there was going to be a finding that while the Russian government did try and interfere with the 2016 election, they were not aided by President Trump or anybody in his campaign. So expect to see a lot in this report about the links that the Russian government took. I think, though, the big thing as far as Congress is concerned and what's going to continue to drive this conversation, at least on Capitol Hill, is these 10 episodes. The Attorney General says that this report will detail 10 episodes that were investigated by the special counsel for potential obstruction of justice, in that while the special counsel reached no conclusion definitively on whether a crime was committed, the Attorney General and the Deputy AG concluded that because the White House and President Trump had cooperated fully, there was, quote, no corrupt intent. But that one thing Barr said was there is substantial evidence in this report to show that the president was frustrated and angered by his belief that this investigation was undermining his presidency. So I think Democrats are going to want to see what those 10 episodes were, how much of that is revealed here in this report, and expect that to be a big thread that they follow. Already the House Judiciary Committee Chairman, Gerald Nadler, is requesting Robert Mueller testify to that committee no later than May 22nd. They are going to want to know if there is any discrepancy in the findings of the special counsel versus the conclusions drawn by the Attorney General.
And so it continues. Jared, thank you. I know you've got to get back to work. We appreciate you making time for us today in Idaho.
Sure thing. Yep, take care.
Thank you. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So there we have it. And let me apologize in advance for the following commentary. To all the devious little libs locally and nationally, to all the people that are not going to give up, here's a Kevin Miller special.
I do have the right to fight back, and I'm fighting back not for me. I'm fighting back for the people of this country.
No collusion. There was no collusion. No collusion.
No collusion.
There is absolutely no collusion.
There's no collusion. The fact is there is no collusion.
No collusion. There's no collusion.
This is a investigation where many, many millions of dollars has been spent, and there's no collusion.
This is a win for this president who, for now 2 years, has essentially been screaming there was no Russia collusion. He is backed up by Mueller.
Maybe every time he said no collusion, like more than 231 times so far, maybe every time he said no collusion, he was telling the truth.
This was an illegal takedown that failed. And hopefully somebody's going to look at the other side.
And we're just the guys to do it. Mike in Nampa, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Kevin. The libs and the Democrats have always been on the wrong side. If you all go back in history, I mean, look at even the civil rights movement. They were on the wrong side. Look at when Abraham Lincoln was going to the inaugural, he was worried about getting assassinated then. I mean, it's always been, they've been on the wrong side of each little, Vietnam War, Johnson.
Civil rights.
We weren't for it. But you had the eagles and the doves. So,
Well, and look, these devious little libs, they're going to continue. First it was, Jeff Sessions was bad. Then Robert Mueller was good. Then he's bad. Now Mueller's bad. Barr is bad. Everybody's bad. After a while, they've got to look in the mirror and say, it's time to get on with your life.
Mm-hmm. But you also got to think, all right, you're talking about slander on the Dems side. Will we ever hear about these people that brought this all out? And, will they serve any jail time,
I agree. Where's the special prosecutor for McCabe, James Comey, Bruce Orr, Strzok, Page? We're because they've ruined so many lives. Dr. Jerome Corsi, his life is ruined. Roger Stone, his life is ruined. All the indictments, they indicted Russian sock puppets, bots.
I would love to see if when Trump went into office that he said, "Oh, let's go after Clinton for her thing." And how much money would they have spent on Clinton? A lot less than this.
As we like to say, lock her up. Let's go to, hang on, Pro-Life, we'll get to you. Let's go to Art in Star with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Art.
Hi, Kevin. How you doing?
It's been a while, my grand jury friend.
Yes. I really hope that after people have a chance to see this report, that an American grand jury will form up for the purposes of running this thing backwards and find out where the source of all this stuff started. And I'm going to make a prediction that this activity goes all the way back to the vetting of Barack Obama, performed by Nancy Pelosi and another individual, an illegal act of vetting. I think that's where it's going to track back to. But the swamp is a large pool of corrupted individuals who are elected to office, and they most definitely are acting in a very traitorous manner to this country. And due to the complexity and the size of this, it's going to take years to unravel this.
Well, what's next?
Well, as I said, it has to be formation of American grand juries. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some people together and train them on how to be foremen for an American grand jury. I'm not going to form a grand jury at this point, but I will train people to how to be their own foremen, to be a foreman for the American grand jury. I've got all the training manuals and all that. It takes a long time, total dedication, whatever, because we're going to need a lot of grand juries. That's how many creatures we've got out there. They're huge. I hear a lot of stuff. It's enormous in quantity, and sometimes the size of the, you got to take on the swamp, and you're like a little minnow, and you look up, and the swamp is the size of a bream whale. Okay, so you're just going to go down inside there. But it's a doable deal. Justice does not go away just because you want to change the subject matter. So the second thing I want to say is this word called exoneration. You've heard that thrown around. They make a big deal on. I'm looking at Fox News. We're waiting for the president to come up and speak, and they make the statement does not exonerate the president. Okay, so the Democrats, the libs, are jumping up and down on that word. The word exoneration cannot come into a conversation until after an individual has been referred or indicted by an American grand jury, and that individual has had their day in court, and they've had a ruling by a jury of 12 that the individual, for whatever the charge was, is guilty. Okay, person's been found guilty, maybe he goes to prison or something like that, and then some time goes by, and new information comes up which proves just the opposite. In other words, the grand jury made a fatal mistake. They pronounced somebody guilty who was actually innocent. Okay.
Art, great point. Thank you for that. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio, taking your calls, 580-5436. I know it's a little early, but great news for the Republic, great news for the president.
Mr. Attorney General, we don't have the report in hand, so could you explain for us the special counsel's articulated reason for not reaching a decision on obstruction of justice, and if it had anything to do with the department's long-standing guidance on not indicting a sitting president, and you say you disagreed with some of his legal theories. What did you disagree with him on?
I'd leave it to his description in the report, the special counsel's own articulation of why he did not want to make a determination as to whether or not there was an obstruction offense. But I will say that when we met with him, Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein and I met with him, along with Ed O'Callahan, who is the principal associate deputy. On March 5th, we specifically asked him about the OLC opinion and whether or not he was taking the position that he would have found a crime but for the existence of the OLC opinion. And he made it very clear several times that that was not his position. He was not saying that but for the OLC opinion he would have found a crime. He made it clear that he had not made the determination that there was a crime.
More coming up. Let's get back to your calls. Pro-Life joins us now. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.
Yeah, you know, you were talking earlier about sales tax, and this is what Governor Little decided, and he told everybody, and I didn't know about this until yesterday, but on a radio program, he said that we're going to start getting internet sales tax money, you know, from people like Amazon and things like that, and then he wants to use that to offset the sales tax. Then we'll get rid of the sales tax on food. And he should have said something like that way, way early, you know.
Look, here's the deal with Governor Little. Hold on. There's no outreach to this program. His press people should be reprimanded. They don't value this show. We're seeing it all over again, as we did with Governor Otter, and that's an insult to everybody that listens and everybody who voted for him. And the fact that he is going to go on and you know, blah blah blah. Look, we've been getting sales tax from Amazon for a year, 2 years now. I don't believe that answer, and I don't believe that they really want to repeal the grocery tax. The governor is a man of honor. He should live up to his word and keep his campaign promise, as should every Republican that made those promises. The fact that they decided to insult the intelligence of the Idaho electorate, the fact, Pro-Life, that they said, well, nobody around amongst the people, Pro-Life might, Tea Party Bob might, but Kevin Miller and the others will not have enough guts to keep this issue alive. They didn't bank on it. And with all due respect, shame on them for that. Shame on them for that. They don't have to worry about paycheck to paycheck like the rest of us.
Well, I know, and I totally agree. I think there was not one person running for state legislature that every one of them wanted to get rid of sales tax on food. The Democrats, all the Republicans, I never heard one of them say, we're not going to do that.
Right. But, you know, again, that's the wink, wink, nod, nod, the old boy club that we're not a part of, where they go, well, we're going to do it. And then they go, see, he's going to do it. Thankfully, we can speak the truth here. And like I said, I like the governor personally, but I'm not going to lie. His press office hasn't contacted us. We're not going to do the job for his press person, Marissa Morrison, or whatever her name is. We're not going to do the job of spreading the governor's talking points. We like him personally. We respect him. Great family, but we can disagree amongst friends. He should have been out in front of this, and he should have mentioned that day one. And you're right. The Republicans and the Democrats and everybody else, this was bipartisan incompetency.
I agree. Now, the media is going to keep, and the Democrats are going to keep going against Trump just as hard as they can, and I think it will cause them to lose in 2020. But I'll tell you when it's all going to end. It's going to end when some little kids see people from that are news people, media and stuff, and they tease the media people, the grade school kids, even the college kids. They say, you people are liars. We don't believe anything you say. When we get to that kind of a point, then things are going to start changing. But people aren't at that point yet. People believe that there is some truth in those.
And that's why we have a great president. Pro-Life, God bless. Let's go to Michael in Nampa with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. How are you this morning? Hey, I wanted to bring a little light to the subject here. There's bigger fish to fry here. I know the Democrats are trying to cover their butts, but there's more going on than that. When we see the Pope and the Imam making out 2 weeks ago, okay, there's a marriage between Baal, the sun god, and Allah, the pagan moon god, taking place. The people are missing. Now, I'm not a religious guy, but I love God. I don't know if you know what that means, but religion is bondage. and freedom is through Christ Jesus, who is the Word of God, who is the truth. Now, these people are of their father, the devil. He's a father of lies, and that's what they're trying to do. We have abortion 4,000 a day on average, right? We've got child sacrifice taking place, and that's a requirement of Baal worship. And you got to understand, nationwide, what President Trump is really fighting against, when he's invoking the name of God, he's invoking the name of Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all of the pagan moon god, and Baal, the sun god, and Mammon, and the Queen of Heaven celebration that's going to take place this Sunday, where everybody's going to go and worship Baal. They don't even know what they're doing. Queen of Heaven, Jeremiah chapter 7, right? The Queen of Heaven, God hates this celebration, but what they do is they like to sprinkle a little bit of truth and a little bit of lie, because that's what their daddy's all about, and they serve it up to God's people, the people of this country, God's elect children, just like we are here in America, just like they are in Israel, our brothers in Israel. And if we could unify and understand that there's more going on here than the political aspect of this is collateral damage based on what's going on spiritually. And I don't care if you believe in God or not. You better, and I don't mean you, Kevin, per se, but anyone in general, you got to understand the truth wins in the end. If you're living in a lie and if you cannot confirm that truth with any moral basis, we use the word of God. Unfortunately, it's been mistranslated so bad to try to get people to worship Baal. People want to try to come into the truth and they can't find the way. And the Democrats bank on that. And you can see it. You see the evidence of it daily, where these guys know, and I saw it in 2016 when the Clinton campaign realized that the American people will believe anything.
Great thoughts, Michael. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.
Why did you and Mr. Rosenstein feel the need you had to take it to the next step to conclude that there was no crime, especially given that DOJ policy?
Well, the very prosecutorial function and all our powers as prosecutors, including the power to convene grand juries and the compulsory process that's involved there, is for one purpose and one purpose only. It's determine yes or no. Was alleged conduct criminal or not criminal? That is our responsibility, and that's why we have the tools we have. And we don't go through this process just to collect information and throw it out to the public. We collect this information, we use that compulsory process for the purpose of making that decision. And because the special counsel did not make that decision, we felt the department had to, and that was a decision by me and the Deputy Attorney General.
There you have it. Bill Barr, the Attorney General. You heard it right here on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller in the morning. More coming up. First, traffic and weather together. Let's get you to work safely and on time. Good morning, Dave. And Kevin Miller with you. Total Team Trump exoneration coverage right here on KIDO Talk Radio. Stay with us with Glenn, with Dave, with Sean, driving you home on the right side, and Lars Larson. God bless you. God bless America. Ray Amaya, outstanding job, folks. I can't wait to hear what you have to say next. Boy, a great day to be in America. Watch out, libs. We're coming for you.